Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Russell Matthews here, and today I'm going to show you a clip from the Canadian comedy show This Hour Has 22 Minutes. And while the subject matter might not be all that funny to a lot of people, the beautiful thing about satire is that it can bring issues to light that a lot of people in the public aren't thinking about, and the CERB repayment issue is one of them. So let's watch it together and we'll go over some of the issues and misconceptions in it, and we'll talk a little bit about the issue that they're making fun of and how the government's kind of left it open-ended.
Hundreds of thousands of Canadians accepted CERB checks that they were not qualified to receive. It's my job to track them down and make them pay. I'm with the Canadian Emergency Relief Benefits Check Overpayment Patrol Squad. We're the CERB cops. We got an anonymous tip about a low-income family ordering a lot of skip the dishes. I ran the address. Looks like somebody here was collecting CERB before their EI ran out. Their luck is about to run out too.
Honey, who is it?
It's just another skip guy. Sorry, we already got our pizza.
I know you did! CERB cops, here to collect!
Oh, God, babe, you should have tipped the driver more.
Where's your mask?
You're in my house.
Thank you! Ah! Oh, real nice place you got here. Look at all that stuff. Is that a PlayStation?
Yeah, it's a PlayStation 3.
What did I do wrong?
You accepted CERB illegally, and now you're gonna have to repay $2,000!
Okay, my bad. The website was confusing. I didn't understand net and gross.
That's fine!
When does he have to pay it back by?
When it's convenient! There'll be no penalties or fines because it was an honest mistake! So when you get around to it, someone's getting the benefit of the doubt. Pug!
Then why are you here?
I don't know! I don't understand CERB either. CR8 told people that they had to pay back the CERB by December 31st, but then Prime Minister Trudeau said if they made an honest mistake, then that was cool and it was fine. So,
Yep.
I think I just broke into a guy's house.
Okay.
The pandemic was hard. Let's not make it harder on people.
Wait, I'm gonna lose my job.
kidding.
Can I get CERB?
CERB cops will not be seen next week. Brought to you by Skip the Dishes.
Yeah, so I like how they add in there, let's not make it harder for people. It's definitely not the case right now. Okay, so I definitely understand that this is just meant to be something that's funny, but it does give us some insight into what the general public thinks about this sort of issue in comparison to the people who are actually living through it. So first off, obviously it's commenting on how this whole thing is going to be enforced, something the government hasn't been very clear about. Here they're going to the extreme of having CERB cops that go there and try to get the money from you in person, which obviously isn't going to happen. But it does raise the question on how the government's going to actually go about enforcing all of this down the road. I mean, right now they've left things pretty open-ended when it comes to how they're actually going to pursue people who have applied fraudulently.
You accepted CERB illegally, and now you're gonna have to repay $2,000!
Okay, my bad. The website was confusing. I didn't understand net and gross.
That's fine!
So he says, you accepted CERB illegally, you're gonna have to pay back $2,000. First off, for most people in this situation, it's actually $14,000, because not too many people applied only once. Most people applied for the full life of it, which was 7 applications adding up to $14,000. A lot bigger of an issue than just $2,000. But the most interesting thing is that he said you applied to CERB illegally. Now, if he's talking about people who applied actually fraudulently and applied knowing that they weren't able to actually get the benefit, then yes, you applied illegally. But the real issue that's going on right now is the people who were given false information, which they used to apply. This false information was given out by the CRA, and now they're saying that they're going to have to pay this money back, even though they were given this false information by the very people who they're supposed to trust. Then the guy who's being assaulted by the CERB cop says, I don't know, I'm sorry, I didn't understand net and gross. Again, that's making light of the situation that people were given wrong information. It's not just people who applied who are confused and made a mistake. There are tons of people who are actually given the wrong information before applying. Then I think the funniest part of the video is the whole when do I have to pay it back by part.
When does he have to pay it back by?
When it's convenient! There'll be no penalties or fines because it was an honest mistake! So when you get around to it, someone's getting the benefit of the doubt. Pug!
And that's totally true. There are no dates attached to when people have to pay this back by. And that goes for both people who applied fraudulently and for these people who were misinformed by the CRA. Right now, they're sort of grouped all into one group when maybe they shouldn't be. And that line where he says, looks like somebody's getting the benefit of the doubt, that actually comments on the fact that pretty much for everybody who applied, there will be no penalties because of the loopholes people can jump through. Time and time again, different government officials have said, if you applied in good faith, there won't be any penalties, you just need to pay back the money, no interest, no fines, you're set. But what that does is that it essentially allows people who actually applied trying to scam the system and knowing that they were scamming the system from having any sort of penalty, because they can just claim, oh, sorry, I didn't know, and apparently the government's going to let them off the hook. That's why this line is so perfect, because literally every single person, whether they should be or not, is getting the benefit of the doubt.
CRA told people that they had to pay back the CERB by December 31st, but then Prime Minister Trudeau said if they made an honest mistake, then that was cool and it was fine. So I think I just broke into a guy's house.
Again, they're poking fun at just how messed up this situation has been, right? The CRA sent out those education letters where they said, you should pay this by the end of the year, and then everybody was freaking out. You're like, how could you do this to me at Christmas time? To which the Prime Minister got up on his podium and said, hey, don't worry about it, even though people were still going to have to pay back money. But everything's just sort of been left open-ended in terms of when people are going to have to pay this back and how. And with the Minister of Employment's most recent interview that we talked about here on the channel, she kind of left it even more open-ended, saying people need to pay back this money, but maybe we'll change that rule later on. So should we pay it back or should we not? If we pay it back and then they change the rule, do we get that money back? Probably not.
The pandemic was hard. Let's not make it harder on people.
And I think that's the perfect line to end it on. Over the past year, we've all been going through such a difficult time, and really, the government isn't making it easier on Canadians at this point, at least those who are struggling with this situation where they're misinformed by the CRA and might have to, sell their car to pay back this $14,000. And you might think that I've absolutely overanalyzed this to death, but I think there actually is value in doing that. By doing all this, we get a better idea of what misconceptions people who aren't going through this have about the situation. And hopefully by continuing this conversation, whether it be in a serious tone or in a comedic tone like this, hopefully the government will finally bring us some solid answers on what Canadians can expect. After over a month since their last meeting, the House of Commons is meeting up again, so maybe this sort of dialogue that's going to start going on in Canadian politics will give us some answers. Let's hope. And I wanted to take a second to invite you to join our Discord community that's been growing more and more. Every single day, new people are hopping in to ask questions, discuss things like this, and just sort of have a sense of community during this difficult time. If you want to join us, the link is down there in the description. And if you like this video and enjoy seeing Canadian content like this, the number one thing you can do to help the channel is to send this video to someone who you think might enjoy it. And with all of that said, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope this video has helped you out at least a little bit, or maybe even made you laugh this time. And I'll see you next time.